Lisa, Alter Ego, album review. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Review Season 11. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. Guys, we are finally here. You know what? Every time I get to this point of the week, when we're finally time to do album reviews, etc., I'm always like, man, can't believe we're already here. Guys, we've been covering Lisa since last Thursday. I mean, it's been last Thursday, and it's been Lisa ever since. I've been having such a grand good time, but I did mention, yesterday was the final track review. It's time to put all of my thoughts together, and it's time to finally talk about this album as a whole. I want to talk about every track. I want to talk about, what I didn't talk about in the reviews, and I didn't talk about in the single track reviews. Like, there's so much we're going to be talking about today, guys. So let's get into it. Now, this is going to be a part 1 and a part 2, but I am going to break it down how we do album reviews in this show if you're new here. For part 1, for today, we're going to be just doing my 3 overall points. I usually do 3 overall points, and then those 3 overall points, and then part 2, tomorrow night, we'll be going over every single track. We'll be giving my thoughts. We will be reviewing the tracks out of 1 out of 5, and then, I'll give my score there, and then we'll get my overall score of the album for part 2. Now that you know the format, guys, let's get to talking about this album, Lisa. Now, before we even start my 3 points, I just want to say I've been waiting for this album for a little bit now. I knew when Lisa was dropping all these singles like Rockstar, like New Woman, etc. I was, I was eyeballing. I was going, all right, yep, there's an album release coming out soon. And I was very correct. And I think, to make an album or to put an album that has such star-studded singles like New Woman or Rockstar or like Born Again. I mean, isn't Born Again, a recent single? And it had like Superstar. It had a Superstar single, for Born Again. And it just goes to show how big and how, massive, Blackpink really is, and all the members are. All the members are massive in themselves. And, when I was listening to this album, when I was getting ready to do coverage of this album, you go on Twitter, and I know Twitter, it's always a negative place. I mean, let's just be real. But holy shit, the negative feedback over Lisa or Lisa's music, from when I was, listening to Blackpink, all the way back in 2016 and etc., one of the big things that, the label or, the group got hate overall was for, more Lisa. People wanting to see more Lisa, more Lisa rapping, maybe more Lisa singing. They wanted more Lisa, and we slowly got that in the 2020s. We slowly started getting some solo stuff from Lisa, and now fast forward to 2025, and now we got a full solo album. So, finally in all these years, for the people that have been hating, not liking that Lisa was not, they wanted more Lisa, basically. And now, the effect of this happening now is that people are hating. Just hating and hating and hating. And it's not even, hating on the music. And, that'd be one thing if you didn't like the music or you didn't like the song. But it's not hating the music. It's just going, when there's a post about Lisa, all the comments are like, who, like, it's just that type of hate. And I think, it really shows that fuck what people gotta say. I mean, let's be real. This is why artists drop these songs talking their shit. Because sometimes the fan bases or the people itself that, are going to consume this album, going to consume this music, they just be doing that shit. And it just makes no fucking sense sometimes. And so that's why I always advocate for artists talking their shit and going crazy. So, let's get into talking about this album. Starting off with my first point. How am I feeling about the production, the overall production about this album? there's so much to this album, and that, there's so much that I really do enjoy too. I love the variety of production here. We have instances where we have, dark trap beats, or we have fun pop songs, or we even have R&B centric songs too. And I do love the variety that we also have some, 2016 kind of Blackpink anthem music that's kind of thrown into. There's a couple of singles that really remind me of that older time. So I think this album has so much variety to it, has so much to it. I like, these subtle beat switches. And I like how, example, like even songs like Thunder, when you're listening to Thunder, are you expecting to have 3 beat switches in Thunder? I don't think you are. And it really shows the variety of production, really shows that Lisa is just creating such fun music. And, even tracks like New Woman, New Woman is all about having these switch-ups, having these beat switch-ups. I called it the TikTok song because, there were so many little switch-ups that I was going, holy shit, there's a switch up here, there's a switch up here. This is a TikTok song. This song's only 2 minutes long, but it feels like it's 3 minutes long, and it feels like it's complete because it has all these switch ups. And you get into like Fuck Up the World, featuring Future. Fuck Up the World is a dark trap beat type song. And it's not just the dark trap beat, it's the dark trap beat with horns in the back, there's good stints in the back, there's a really fun hook, there's great background vocals that just really bring up. And, when you're listening to this song, guys, and you're listening to this album, I really enjoy the variety of production that you get here, the variety of sounds that just absolutely hit. And I really love how we get that slight switch up with Rapunzel. Rapunzel is like an older, I feel like it's more of like a 2010s, boom bap, like rap song. And just those subtle switch ups. That variety of production just absolutely hits. And then tracks like Moonlight Floor, When I'm With You, these tracks, have these R&B centric vocals in the background, have these vibes that just absolutely hit. So I really love the variety in production, and I'm glad it's there. Now, my next point. Let's talk about the features. There's quite a bit of features in this album. There's a lot of features in this album. I mean, for example, we got Doja Cat, we got Rhea, we got, we even have, we got Future, we got Megan Thee Stallion, we got Tyla, we got Rosalia, we have all of these artists on these tracks, and I think honestly, all of these features absolutely hit. I think they make sense. I think they come together. I think each of these features provide, some extra good runtime. You want your songs to last a little bit longer, so, why just put some features, put some good features that can take a song and enhance a song and make it really fucking good. So I really enjoy the features on this album. Star standouts for sure is going to be New Woman. I mean, Rosalia coming on there, just absolutely killing it with that verse, with those pop vocals. I love that, like, dark switch up in the flow that she does. Then, you got Fuck the World featuring Future. I think Future coming on this track, just absolutely hitting. Rapunzel featuring Megan Thee Stallion. I like Megan Thee Stallion's feature. I like what she brings to this track. But my favorite track, oh man, my favorite track, that has one of the best features in my opinion, it's When I'm With You featuring Tyla. Tyla just brings that extra R&B flair to it, brings that R&B centric vocals into it, brings that R&B soul into the track. So I think, everything here just comes together with the features. And then, my next point, what's my favorite tracks and what's my least favorite tracks? We're going to bring this back for this album review. I'm going to say this. My favorite tracks are definitely going to be Fuck Up the World for one. When I'm With You is going to be my second. If I want an R&B song that just, goes crazy, that just absolutely hits, I'm definitely going to be picking When I'm With You. And then, honestly, guys, my next one for sure My next track that's definitely got to be up to is Dream. You know, I was listening to Dream again. Dream just has a lot to it, and I love that ending. I love how it's a slower song. I really love the vocals of Dream. I think Dream really hits. Least favorite tracks, I will say, you know, going back into listening to it, Rockstar. Rockstar is a good track, but I will say going back to it, listening to it, and I had to listen to it a few more times again, Rockstar's definitely one of the least favorites, and I will say Thunder. Even though I do like the beat switches of Thunder, and I like how Thunder comes together at the end, I don't like the verses on Thunder, and the hook is a little bit too much for me. Now, also, you know, that's going to go into, you know, I will say it's going to go into um, Bad Girl. I'm going to say Bad Girl is okay. I like the hook, and I just don't like the verses. I think the vocals on the verses are just not that good. And I will say, you know, going back and listening to it, you know, my least favorite is definitely going to have to be Moonlit Floor. I mean, let's just be honest. Are we listening to that? Am I listening to that song, you know, in my free time? Probably not. So, guys, when we talk about this album and when we get into it, I'm going to say overall, I think this album really comes together, in my opinion. I think it goes crazy. And overall, I really do enjoy this project. And, you know, I'm not going to give my overall score. I'm not going to even say my overall thoughts yet, because that's going to be part 2. Guys, part 2, we're going to be going over every single track. I'm going to be ranking. I'm going to be reviewing every single track. And yeah, guys, make sure you follow if you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at. Make sure you follow, turn on notifications. Part 2 will be Wednesday night. I'll see y'all later. You have a good one. Bye.